Hello and welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness. Darling J. Clark. Be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem. I hear myself in the background, so I had to cut that off. I'm sorry. Thanks for supporting me, and please hit the thumbs up. I'm going to start this off. Matthew 18, verse 6. But whoso shall fear one of these little ones, which believe in me, it were better that a millstone would hang about his neck, and that he would drown in the depth of the sea. I'm going to come on down and do the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1970. Get this right up here. Let me get that other thing out of the way right here. I'm sorry. The Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use to the balance in favor of fair use. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Hi there, Eric. Good to see you. Hi, Jackie. Good to see you. Hi, Bucket Liz. Good to see you as well. So proud to see each and every one of y'all. So this is an important topic. What's going on? The Stephen Bandy Beld Paris Olympics convicted child rapist. I cannot believe some of this stuff because I don't think any country should have anyone of this kind of nature portraying that country, not unless they want to be portrayed badly. So without further ado, let's get into this. The Grands are playing. That's cool. That's awesome. Have fun. Their bucket list. I will have another live after this where I'm going to show apps that which will help and benefit other people. But so this guy right here, Stephen Van de Velde of the Netherlands, pictured during day 6 of the Beach World Champs in Tlaxcala, Mexico in 2023. Is sent to jail for raping a child. Dutch beach volleyball player qualifies for Paris Olympics representing the Netherlands. The Netherlands Olympic chief has said he is surprised at reactions towards Steven Van de Velde, the Dutch beach volleyball player who served time in prison for raping a child 10 years ago and who will represent the Netherlands at this year's Olympics. Van de Velde, who is now 29, was sentenced to 4 years in prison in 2014 for raping the girl who was age 12 when he was 19. According to British media, he was released in 2017. He has now been selected to represent the Netherlands in beach volleyball for this summer's Olympic Games in Paris. He has been active in international sports, the beach volleyball world, for a long time. Pieter van de Hugenband, Netherlands chief de mission, told Dutch broadcaster NOS in an interview that aired Sunday. He's played in World Cups, European Championships, and World Championships. But then you see that things are different around the games, that things are exaggerated around the games. Excuse me if it's exaggerated. That's a fact right here about this. Van den Hoogenband's comments come after public reactions to Van de Velde's selection to represent the Netherlands, including from other Olympic participants. While refusing to discuss specific cases in terms of other countries' choices for their national team, Australian Chief de Mission Anna Mears said Monday, if an athlete or staff member had that conviction, they would not be allowed to be a member of our team. Exactly. We have stringent policies on safeguarding within our team. We know Stevens' history. Mikkel Evert, General Director at Nivebo, the Dutch Volleyball Federation, said in a statement at the time of Van de Velde's selection in late June. Everett said that the National Federation spoke extensively with the Dutch National Olympic Committee, the International Volleyball Federation, and Van de Velde before his return to the sport. He was convicted at the time according to English law and he has served a sentence. From then on, we have been in constant contact with Stephen, who has now been fully reintegrated into the Dutch volleyball community, and Verart added in the statement. Van de Velde served some of his sentence in England before being transferred to the Netherlands, where he was released and returned to playing in 2017, according to Nieuwsblad. In 2018, Van de Velde told national broadcaster NOS, I did what I did. I can't take it back. So I will have to carry the consequences. You can judge, of course. It is the biggest mistake of my life. He has proven to be an exemplary professional and human being, and there has been no reason to doubt him since his return. The Federation noted that Van de Velde was aware that this black period in his life would resurface, but obviously is not happy about it. What about the girl that he did this to? She's got to live with it the rest of her life, does she not, y'all? In the statement released by Neverboom, Van de Velde said he is grateful for the chance. Understand that in the run up to the biggest sporting event in the world, this can attract the attention of international media, added Van de Velde. Because of the second chance I got from my parents, my friends, acquaintances, and colleagues who accepted me again after the biggest misstep of my then young life, he said. I am also grateful to the Dutch Volleyball Federation because they offered me, with clear conditions and agreements, a future in this beautiful sport again, but I also think back to the teenager I was, who was insecure, not ready for a life as a top class athlete, and unhappy inside because I didn't know who I was or what I wanted. Still, there's no excuse for you or another girl. She was 12 years old, you were 19. It doesn't matter how unhappy you were. It does not matter about any of that. So don't limelight it to that. Devaboo and Dutch NOC said in a statement that they supported Van de Velde, adding that they, along with the FIVB, had consulted experts who considered the chance of recidivism nil. After his conviction and sentence, Stephen Van de Velde returned to the highest level of sport step by step under the expert guidance of probation and coaching. Among others, he has been participating in international tournaments again since 2017. Neovo said in a statement. Y'all think he would have been a rehabilitation? Y'all think he would have been okay to do all that? The Dutch NOC added that Vandeveld returned to professional sport on the basis of its guidelines, which sets out, among other things, the conditions under which athletes in top level sports can return after a conviction. Vandeveld now meets all the qualification requirements for the Olympic Games and is therefore part of the team. A lot of times these perpetrators they do this, but they do it in secret. So how do we know that he didn't continue doing his dirty nastiness? We already know a lot of times that it continues, but we'll be behind closed doors. But there are cases where somebody learned a lesson because they got prosecuted. So we'll see. But I am not going to give him credit because when he's seen to find a country, portraying a country, I don't think they should be what they're spotlighting for that country. The kind of person he is, he should be an exemplary type of person. The International Olympic Committee told CNN that the nomination of individual team members following qualification on the field of play is the sole responsibility of each respective National Olympic Committee. Therefore, we would refer to the Dutch NOC for any further information. So Drew Rios-Colin, CEO of the U.S. Center for Safe Sports, said in a statement sent to CNN that the organization was deeply concerned that anyone convicted of sexually assaulting a minor could participate in the 2024 Olympic Games. Exactly, right? With teams from around the world about to convene in Paris, which they are, many of which include minor athletes, this sends a dangerous message that medals and money mean more than their safety. Participation in sport is a privilege, not a right, she added. All right, so here's the next one here. Here's where his case is explained. Why Dutch volleyball player and convicted rapist is in the 2024 Olympics. The story mentions sexual assault of a minor, sexual grooming, and self harm. Love and prayers for all. God bless you too. On our bucket list. Dutch beat volleyball player Steven van de Velde is going to the Olympics for the first time in his career, but his selection to the Netherlands national team was more than controversial. Van de Velde is a convicted child rapist and a sex offender who is sentenced to 4 years in prison. He ultimately served 13 months in jail before being released in 2017. At the time, his conviction seemed certain to curtail his future in sport, but the Dutch Olympic Committee and the International Olympic Committee are allowing him to participate in the 2024 Olympics. Here's what to know about that decision and a case against Van de Velde. Stephen Van de Velde's case explained. Van de Velde was sentenced to 4 years in prison in 2016 after he pled guilty to 3 counts of raping a child in the United Kingdom. 3 counts, not just one, three. Van de Velde's communication with his victim began when she sent him a friend request on social media. The two began chatting on Skype, Facebook, and Snapchat and continued to do so every day for months. Initially, Van de Velde believed the girl was 16 years old, but she eventually told him she was actually 12. Van de Velde was 19 at the time of their correspondence. Van de Velde didn't break off contact with his victim after learning of her true age. He admitted that he traveled from the Netherlands to England on August 2nd, 2014, to meet with her. He met her in Milton Keynes, the town where she lived, and raped her several times, including one instance of, I'm not going to say y'all see the words right there, of, during which she complained he was hurting her. Van de Velde told his victim to get the morning after pill before he returned to the Netherlands, as they hadn't used protection. His victim went to a family member planning clinic, and the staff were alerted to her parents of her presence due to her age. After a warrant was issued for his arrest, Van de Velde was extradited to the United Kingdom on January 8, 2016, and pled guilty to the charges against him. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison. During the court case, it was also revealed that Van de Velde's victim felt guilty following his arrest and had been self-harming because of it. That led Judge Francis Sheridan to give Van de Velde a scathing rebuke during the trial. The emotional harm that has been caused to this child is enormous, Sheridan said. As she matures, she will have to come to realize that you are not the nice man she thought you were and hoped you would be. Van de Velde served 13 months of a sentence, just 13 months out of his 4 years. 12 of those came in England before he was transferred to the Netherlands for the final month of his sentence, which was reduced given the country's less stringent laws surrounding sexual issues. Wow. Van de Velde gave an interview to Dutch newspaper Algemeen Dagblad after his release from jail. I have been branded as a sex monster, as a pedophile. He said that I am not, really not. Yes, you are. You had sex with a minor. That is what a pedophile is. Look up the definition yourself. And yes, you are. And you did that several times to a minor. So you're not even owning up to what you did because you're saying, I'm really not as a pedophile. I'm really not a monster. I'm really not. Excuse me? So I'm not backing you because you're still not accepting that it was wrong of you to do that. His name remains on the United Kingdom's sex offender registry. So while Steven Van de Velde is competing in the 24 Olympics, His criminal history will leave many sports fans wondering why the Netherlands is allowing him to represent the country at the Olympics. The Dutch Olympic Committee and Dutch Volleyball Federation said Bandy Veld's inclusion came after careful consideration and that the 29-year-old had consistently met the country's standards per the athletic. We are deeply aware that the renewed publicity about Stephen Van Velde is causing a lot of emotion, which we fully understand as the events at that time were very serious. And they're still serious. Excuse me. The NOC statement read, "A lot has happened since then. Stephen served his sentence and has completed an extensive rehabilitation program with specialized professionals, including the probation service. Experts have concluded there is no risk of recidivism." We don't know that. You cannot say that the guy's going to not never do that again. You don't really know that for sure. The statement also said that Van Velde deserved a second chance because he had grown and positively changed his life. I don't think he positively changed his life and grown if he's still saying he did nothing wrong. Meanwhile, the International Olympic Committee deferred the decision about Van Velde's selection to the NOC. The nomination of the individual team members following the qualification on the field of play is the sole responsibility of each respective National Olympic Committee. An IOC spokesman said per Yahoo Sports. Fans on hand for Vandy Veld's first Olympic match let both Olympic committees know what they thought of his inclusion. He and his teammate Matthew Emmers were met with a mixture of boos and applause as they introduced ahead of their match against Italy's Alex Ranieri and Adrian Carabola per the BBC. Vandy Veld and Emmers, ranked 10 in the world, lost a match 2-1 and Ranieri and Carabula, who are 25th in the world ranks. So let's go. It said he's married now and he's settled down. And I think it's a tough thing to do is punish him twice, and he's managed to successfully turn his life around after being sent to prison and to qualify and be playing sport at the highest level. Then I actually wish him the best of luck. Radcliffe was met with backlash for those comments. She later apologized for them, saying she was mortified that she didn't condemn the rape out loud. Exactly. Exactly. Competing in the Olympic Games is a privilege that should be reserved for those who uphold the Olympic moral ideals, she wrote in a statement posted to X, formerly Twitter. I absolutely should not have wished him luck and genuinely have no explanation for why I said that. I do believe in second chances after serving punishment, but think the Olympics should be for those who uphold the ideals. That's why I poorly brought the doping comparison in, she added, per the BBC. I myself was shocked and disappointed at how I expressed this so badly. I am very sorry and should have done better. I by no means meant to overlook the crime and meant to say those who don't uphold ideals should be excluded but can't be. I profoundly apologize and I'm deeply shocked and disappointed in myself and can't understand how I managed to convey it so badly. It's like so it's protected child rapist reveals a double standard there, which it is. It's look right here. Yesterday, a decade after he committed the crimes, he took his place on the world's most prestigious sporting stage. When he walked under the shadow of the Eiffel Tower onto the volleyball court, he was booed. It seemed spectators were at least united, something the inclusive opening ceremonies tableau of drag queens and faded pop stars failed to do. The disapproval of the crowd irked Vandy Veld's teammate, Matthew Emmers, who told reporter he had his punishment and now he's really kind. Who cares if he's really kind? He did the crime, you know. It's going to follow him around. It's going to affect that kid the rest of her life. Vandy Veld was not expected to defend himself from the international press. Of the thousands of competitors, he alone has been granted a special dispensation excusing him from the responsibility of giving media interviews. John van Vliet, the Dutch team's press attache, stepped in for him. He's been quite upfront about his role, admitting we are protecting a convicted child rapist. When asked about the message the players' selection sent to survivors of sexual abuse, I have no message. I have no. Yep. Let me get past that right here. But whether or not Van Vliet had anything to say, Van de Velde's participation does send a powerful message assigned to the estimated 1 in 4 women who have been raped or sexually assaulted, and the estimated 1 in 10 girls who have suffered child sexual abuse. It tells them that they don't matter. It tells them that their abuser's future is more, sorry, important than their own. That apparently tough moral decision about whether to allow a child rapist to compete was delegated by the International Olympic Committee to the Dutch. Well, there's a standard given the crimes for which he was convicted. It is a cowardly shirking of the committee's duty. It is worth bearing in mind that trifles that could ruin the ambitions of Olympic hopefuls. This year, Japanese gymnast Shoko Miyako was sent home by her team after she was spotted having a cheeky cigarette. In the previous games, U.S. track and field athlete Chaz Carey Richardson was barred from competition after she smoked cannabis. Hardly a hardly a performance enhancing drug, it seems the Dutch have no such qualms. There's an irony, that Vandy Beld has been allowed the rare honor of becoming an Olympian at a time when cancel culture and censorious sentiment burns throughout the Western world. And since a man can commit the most heinous crime imaginable, and his teammates, and indeed his country, will stand with him if he can hit a ball over a net with sufficient skill. Being an Olympian is not just about representing one's country, not nor even the pinnacle of human achievement. It is also about being a role model. It is an honor afforded to the very few outstanding athletes who symbolize excellence. So it was exactly a century ago in Paris that the motto "Citius, Altius, Fortius, Faster, Higher, Stronger" was first used, in the words of IOC co-founder Pierre de Coubertin, represent a program of moral beauty. Today, however, looking at the stain Van de Velde has brought to the games, this lofty ambition rings hollow. But the shame of his crime is not his alone. It belongs to all those who are prepared to overlook child rape for the chance of medal. Wow. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. I applaud that. So let me mute my mic so that you can hear this video. Eh, I don't mind showing y'all. So
And if an athlete or a staff member had that conviction, they wouldn't be allowed to be a member of our team. Where we have very stringent policies around safeguarding within our team.
I could say it's wow right there. Let me get to the. Can I still see the screen? I need to put the okay, good. Okay. So then let's go back to this other page over here. Wow, trying to get to this other. Here's where it says, who is Steven Van de Velde, the Dutch child rapist playing beach volleyball at the Olympics? Steven Van de Velde is probably the most controversial athlete to appear at the Paris Olympics. Sky News looks at who he is, what he did, and what the reaction has been to his appearance at the Games. This was Monday, July the 29th, 2024. The start of the Olympics had been marked by the controversial appearance of a child rapist on the beach volleyball court. Steven Van de Velde was greeted with boos from spectators as he made his Olympic debut in Paris on Sunday. I need to make this bigger to get that dog part out of there. Who is he and what did he do? And what has been said about his conclusion at the Games? Steven Van de Velde is probably the most controversial athlete to appear at the Paris Olympics. The 29-year-old Dutch beach volleyball player is a convicted child rapist. He calls himself a teenager. When it happened, he was 19 years old, okay? It's still considered an adult. See? In 2014, when he was 19, he raped a 12-year-old British girl. He met his victim on Facebook and traveled from Amsterdam to the UK and attacked the girl at an address in Milton Keynes. Y'all, please protect your children when you're online. See who they're talking to. Wonder where the adults were. Where did this happen at? Sentencing and jail time. Bandy Bell was given a 4-year sentence in 2016. The Milton Keynes citizen reported at the time of his sentencing that he appeared by video link at Aylesbury Crown Court and wept as he heard his victim ended up self harming and taking an overdose. After serving part of his jail term in England, he was sent to the Netherlands, where his sentence was adjusted according to Dutch laws. He served a combined 13 months in prison in Britain and the Netherlands, and which is wrong because he was sentenced to 4 years. So I don't think he got the adequate time in jail. Stephen Vanderbilt and Matthew Emmers play in Paris picked. What have Dutch officials said? The Dutch Volleyball Federation Neverbo said Vanderbilt was proven to be an exemplary professional and human being, and there's been no reason to doubt him since his return. They added he had their full support and all after his release had sought professional counseling. Meanwhile, the country's Olympic Committee said Vanderbilt had met all the qualification requirements for the Olympic Games and is therefore part of the team. So all the requirements, but it's supposed to be an exemplary person, it's supposed to be a role model. What has the International Olympic Committee said about it? A spokesman for the International Olympic Committee deferred to the Dutch and reiterated that national officials have said about extra safeguards in place. Not to excuse it any way this took place, I think 10 years ago, and I think as a general rule, I think we need to allow for the possibility of rehabilitation. Mark Adams said at the IOC's news conference on the day of Bandy Bell's debut. The International Volleyball Federation said it was unable to stop the Netherlands from sending Bandy Bell to Paris after he qualified in the usual way. What was Vanderbilt has Vanderbilt said about it? In a statement released by Nebubu, Vanderbilt said, I understand that in the run up to the biggest sporting event in the world, this can attract the attention of international media. I cannot reverse it, so I have to bear the consequences. It has been the biggest mistake of my life. But you keep saying you wasn't a pedophile. So, you don't really take the blame for what you did. You said you wasn't a pedophile. You want to say that you were an adult teenager, but no, 19 is still considered a legal adult. You messed with somebody 7 years younger that was still a child. Vanderbilt was booed when he was introduced to the crowd before the match against Italian pair Alex Bregari and Adrian Carambula, although there was some applause for his teammate Matthew Embers as they arrived. Rape Crisis England and Wales has said his inclusion at the games was shocking. In a statement to Sky News, the Survivors Trust said the fact that Vandy Bell is allowed to continue his career after admitting the biggest mistake of his life is further endorsement of the shocking toleration we have of child sexual abuse. The rape of a child was planned, calculated, involving international travel, and will undoubtedly cause its victim lifelong trauma, irreversibly changing the course of her life. Exactly. Exactly. He didn't even just go like to another country or another city or another state or whatever. He actually went somewhere else, international travel. How many other kids could he have done this? If that's the only one he got caught, we don't know, right? As a society, we have to start embracing a zero tolerance approach to this heinous and costly crime. Exactly. Zero tolerance. His lack of remorse and empathy for his victim is chilling, and the allowance of his colleagues and the Olympic Committee to promote him to a young audience as a sports person to look up to, and therefore, by implication, is deeply disturbing. Vandy Velde kept away from reporters. Vandy Velde did not speak to reporters after the three-set loss to Italy, a break with a long-standing IOC policy. He's not here because he just wanted to rest his mind about it and just focus on the game, said teammate Mr. Embers, who said he did not notice the crowd's reaction. The Dutch Olympic Committee has also moved him away from the Olympic Village to alternative accommodation. Dutch team spokesman John van Vleet said the decision to shelter Van de Velde was made by the National Olympic Committee and shared with the International Olympic Committee. Asked if they were protecting a convicted child rapist, he said, we are protecting a convicted child rapist to do his sport as best as possible and for a tournament which he qualified for. The general matter of sex conviction and sex related crime is definitely a more important issue than sport, Mr. Van Vliet said in the mixed zone after the match. In this case, we've got a person who has been convicted, who did a sentence, who did everything afterwards which he can do to be able to compete again. Resurfacing of conviction. Vandy Bell has been playing volleyball for a while before his conviction caught up with him in the sporting arena. During the 2 year qualifying period for the Olympics, Vandy Bell's record was not an issue. However, it resurfaced after the team played its way into the number 11 spot in the world rankings as the number 2 team from the Netherlands earning a place at the Olympics. Mr. Van Vliet said the controversy being brought up was a surprise to Vandy Bell and his teammate. He has been playing with him many tournaments for many years. The last 3 years has never been an issue, Mr. Van Vliet said. I'm not judging if it should have been or not, but it's never been an issue. And now all of a sudden for them, it's a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise. It should not be a surprise. It's an issue to try to protect pedophiles. He still is on the sex offender registry. I want to go ahead and show a little what I'm going to be showing a little bit. There's child abuse, there's different apps that we're going to go over. in a little while. Um, but I want to thank y'all for coming. Is anybody got any kind of remarks that they'd like to say? Thank you so much for coming, everyone. We need to be sure to keep our voices heard, pay close attention, be an advocate for our children, show we care. We don't need to sweep this under the rug and say, oh, he's an old sex offender. That's okay. Okay, that guy served time in the jail. He's a sex offender. He served his time. But yeah, I'm going to let him go ahead and play around with my kids. You know what I mean? He served his time, so we're going to go ahead and let him around all these people and these kids. It's okay. He served his time. Bull crap. Bull crap. Bull crap. Okay, thank you, everyone, and God bless y'all. Thank you so much. Love you